guys! Today I wanted to talk about something that's a bit similar to my last video because I just really enjoyed being so open with you guys. It has to do with relationships and with feminism and how the two sometimes are really difficult to combine, at least for me, because sometimes I find myself doing things which are really not things I agree with, and those are things that are very not in tune with feminism, I think. And I talked about it a little bit in my last video, and it is like something I'm so scared of, and it's something that really dictates, or at least has dictated a lot, my past relationships. So I'm scared of being rejected, I'm scared of being annoying, I am scared of being impolite, I'm scared of being rude, I'm scared of being too much, I'm scared of being clingy, I'm scared of basically just being a pain or a burden to others. And I don't feel this fear in my usual relationships with women. I really try to get the vibes and the needs from the person that I'm talking to, but with women generally it's just, you know, my personality that just expresses itself naturally, and that's something I don't mind. With guys it's always like, am I gonna be too extreme, I'm gonna be too rude, am I gonna be too this or too that, or not enough of this or not enough of that. It is always a bit like annoying because honestly most of the time, like 80% of the time, deep down I don't give a shit. And it's only been a recent thing when I'm just really able to voice my discontentment or my disagreement with when a situation arises. So usually the only times that I've been able to be like, oh, completely myself is about veganism. I've realized that if veganism is not in the picture, I am usually not my usual self when I'm around guys. I do those things that I really despise, and I do them without realizing I'm doing them. And for example, a bit more than a year ago I met a guy and we were kind of seeing each other and blah blah blah, and it ended up being completely disastrous at the end, but whatever. I was so scared of him thinking this or that of me that I was really not myself. And I realized that after the story ended, because I had so many regrets of not having been able to be myself completely. But what made me realize that is that once we were together at my place and we were trying to find a movie online, and I just couldn't find a movie, and that really pissed me off, and basically I used a few swearing words, and he was like so surprised that I was swearing, and he was so surprised to see me mad, like pissed off. Which, if you know me, like I'm not the kind of person that swears a lot, but I will swear occasionally. Like it's not something I'm opposed to, and I don't really mind, and I get pissed off really easily. I'm not very passionate, I'm full of sarcasm, like a bit too much perhaps for my own good. Like if I watch a show, if I'm listening to something, if I'm reading something, I'm always commenting on it. I have very bitter sense of humor, and I get really pissed off easily by people and what they do and things in general. So it's not something that you should be surprised by if you know me. But to see that he was surprised made me realize how I was trying to control myself and behave like a good girl around him. And that's not new for me. Whenever I meet a guy, not whenever, it's not like 100% of the time, but it's very frequent. I don't know why, I suddenly have this very sweet sort of voice, and I immediately change the way I behave. I become very submissive. I mean, not necessarily in what I say, but how I say it and how I behave. I will tend to just be more quiet to voice, or I will do that with my head. I will nod a lot. I will not try to express my thoughts as much as I would with someone else. If I'm not sure this person is right, I'm not going to say that I highly doubt his, you know, facts or opinions or whatever, and I will just try to oppose them, but in a very subtle way, like, oh no, don't say that, you know, in a very soft way, which is really unlike me. But if I'm sending a text to a guy that I don't really know but I'm kind of interested in, which is very rare, as I said, I'm gonna be like, oh, if you don't want it, it's completely fine. Please do not feel like embarrassed or awkward for telling me you don't want to go. I'm not gonna be mad or anything. Please feel free to tell me. Like I'm gonna be so insistent about those things because I really want those people to be like, I don't know, I just don't want to make them feel like I'm pushing anything onto them or like I'm trying to impose anything or be like the one to decide. I think that also comes from my first love thing, because the guy was really not nice. At least when we first met, he was really not nice. He was sort of a bit violent, not physically, because anyway it couldn't be, but like in his words and his attitude and that kind of stuff. And I was always worried that he was in a bad mood, so I would always make sure that I could talk to him. I would really have to check whether he was in the right mood or not. And that really, I think, sort of traumatized me a little bit. That impacted me so strongly that I'm always a bit scared nowadays, I think, when I'm around someone who is a male, because unless they're my friend and I know them very well, because I have associated, I think, the image of guys in a way in relationships with them being really mean and a bit violent. And I mean, I don't think you can really blame me, because I have also seen so many of my friends' relationships being like that, their boyfriends being really not nice, like sometimes even physically abusive towards them or emotionally and psychologically abusive. And it's like such a common thing, like you hear all the time about how girls are treated by some guys. I'm not saying all guys are like that, because once again, I really love men, like I just love men. But I think it's very unfortunate and it's very sad, but the way many guys behave makes me really scared. So not really scared, like I'm not like shaking and whatever, but you know, I immediately, that plus this memory of my past relationships makes me feel like I really have to be careful around them. And so I never feel like I'm completely fine and comfortable around them. And the only time I felt that way was with the Japanese man, older man that I've seen just once and stuff. But first, when we were texting a little bit, I was again doing this very annoying thing, like making sure, you know, things were okay and that I could talk to him or whatever. But I realized that he was not getting mad. And honestly, for me, the realization that a guy is not going to get mad at me for like silly things is always wow. It should be normal, but for me it's like, oh wow, that's pretty amazing. Obviously I know many men and guys who are completely fine, but the thing is, the ones I've seen and the ones I've known that were bad were really bad. And I feel like, as a very sensitive person and as a female in a society where we are put under so much pressure and when we have so much to deal with daily, and we are attacked daily. I know some guys are going to be like, what are you talking about? But we are under, like, you go in the street and you get catcalled, you get like people touching you, following you, insulting you when you don't reply to their smiles. You get people sending you pictures of their dicks. You get super sexist and sexual and rude and offensive comments online if you're like me and you put videos. I don't know, you get so many weird and crazy fucked up things happening to you. And then you get those few guys in your life that treat you like shit. You owe them everything. They take you when they want and they throw you away when they don't want you anymore. You see that happening with your friends as well. And you see girls being super like, oh, sorry, when guys are just never saying I'm sorry. And if you know that not all guys are like that, of course, and even if you're completely capable of having good relationship with guys, I mean, I have so many good relationships with guys, when it becomes romantic or not necessarily friendly, it is really hard to get, at least for me, I find it really hard to be comfortable and feel safe. Try to change that, because I know it's not nice, it's not nice for me, and it's not nice for the people that are in front of me. So I think it's not nice because, as I said, it is not a feminist thing to do. It's something that's really hard to deal with, and it's something that I don't really want to talk about usually, because I feel like if you talk about that kind of things, people are immediately going to jump on it and be like, oh, see, you're completely fucked up and you're scared of guys, and that's why you can have a healthy relationship, and that's why you're a feminist. But I'd like people to understand that it's not that. It really isn't that. And I think it's important to acknowledge that we are not perfect and that we are not waterproof, you know, like we are not world proof or exterior proof or whatever. Like we are impacted by what's happening around us. We are impacted by society, by the relationships we had, by the relationships we see. We are impacted. I do believe also that we are impacted by what our ancestors have gone through, like the story of a family. I do feel like it's something you carry in yourself to some extent, and those are all things that make us sometimes scared, uneasy, uncomfortable, all sorts of things which we should not be ashamed of admitting. That's what I wanted to talk about, I suppose. This video is going to be long and a pain to edit, so I'm sorry for that. Guys, I hope this was interesting. Please let me know if you like that kind of videos. Please let me know if you could relate to that. Thank you for watching very, very much. If you have any questions or anything you think you misunderstood, please ask me questions before accusing me or attacking me for whatever thing it is that you haven't understood properly, and we could have a great discussion about it. We'll see you later. Bye.